Well, folks, I've had a great week this week, and it's mostly thanks to this guy right next to us. It is the 2023 Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum. So I feel like once again, we should start with the price for the Cadillac Escalade. This one is $148,000 Canadian. You heard me right, that isn't a joke. It is the price of a small condo here in Quebec. But since this isn't the base model Escalade, it does have some nice packages, and I'll try to show you all of them during the course of this video. And also at the end of the video, I will give you my take. Since I drove the Yukon Denali Ultimate last week, I'll tell you which one I prefer in which area so that you can have a good idea in case you're in the market for one of these big bad boys. So taking a look under the hood, it's a 6.2 liter V8 with dynamic fuel management. And we saw pretty much the exact same engine on the Yukon Denali Ultimate last week. If you haven't seen that video, you know what to do if you're interested. But this engine here produces the exact same, is 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. You got a 10-speed automatic transmission. There isn't any manual. I don't know why you'd want a manual for an Escalade, but some people might. And then it also comes with all-wheel drive. In the all-wheel drive system, you can have 2 high, 4 low, and all that great stuff. On now to the rear of this massive Cadillac Escalade. We have these nice, again, it's iconic, the rear of these things. It's a tail light that goes all the way up and all the way down. You can see it from pretty much anywhere, and it's really nice. It's nice when it illuminates at night. I love it. Then you have some badging. There's a 600 badging here, and then there's the Escalade badging there. But the only thing is it's so dark that you can't even see it unless you're really close. It doesn't matter because you have to fit the theme. And then again, here we have that blacked out Cadillac badge, which I am absolutely in love with. You got a pretty big exhaust. There's 2 of them, 1 for each side. The noise isn't crazy. It's nothing to write home about, but you know, it's not a V, so I wasn't expecting anything crazy. I wish it was a V though. Oh my goodness. We have an absolutely massive rear windshield here. And again, like we saw in the Yukon, the rear wiper is actually tucked up right there. And you know I love that because it's not going to break by snow, and then you have a nice brake light. But let's take a look at the trunk. I love how this trunk opens. You press it, you press the Cadillac emblem, which is so nice, and it opens up for you. $150,000, it's as much as a condo. You need that kind of technology. So in here, I have way more room than the Yukon. There's no trade-off for that 3rd row. You get the 3rd row and you get a whole bunch of trunk space. Like I can lift myself up here. That wasn't graceful at all, but I have so much room to sit in here. I could, fit almost my entire body this way in here. So plenty of room for anything you need. And then also, to make matters even better, this folds down. I can only do it on one side because I have stuff in the rear. And look at that, it loves to cooperate with me. There we go. So I can put one thing down there, or you can have the double seat down there too, which will give you so much room. This is just an incredible hauler for any type of thing that you need. So onto the side profile for the Cadillac Escalade. You can see just by looking at this rear view window here, this rear window, it's massive. I think the Yukon probably stops about here. The Escalade keeps going. Like I said, you have so much room in that 3rd row and you don't compromise trunk space. And I mean, if that's a trade-off you're looking for, then this is so perfect for that. Besides that, you have the nice metallic gray paint that is sparkly in the sun. It doesn't look black, or it does look black. It's supposed to look gray, but in the sun and stuff like that, it kind of changes color from black to gray, and it's really nice. Depending on what angle, you'll get a different color, and I love that too. So we also have 22-inch tires here with the blacked out Cadillac badge on the rim, and that's attention to detail, which we love. Then we have some fake door handles because when you press that, it doesn't actually move. There's a button on the inside. Nice little Cadillac badge here too, as well as we have little cameras here for the side view mirrors for, again, that 360-degree camera. Speaking of the rear or the interior, let's take a look at what the Cadillac's got for the rear seat. You can see that step folds down, absolutely no problem. Really nice, really big doors with a nice open wood. It's just attention to detail and a lot of detail, and I love it. So let's hop in here. You got a nice little thing here that says Escalade that illuminates at nighttime, and then you'll see just how much space I have back here. I have quite a bit of room. It's very comfortable. Again, we have that same thing where the input is controlled by an HDMI cable. There's no built-in things. I really wish they would add that, especially for the price point that the Escalade is in. I think you kind of need that. Moving around in here is absolutely no problem. I got a nice sunroof. Again, I have the same problem here that I had with the Yukon. The sunroof, unfortunately, it's very nice, but it ends here. So if you're in the third row, if you find yourself stuck in that third row, it's pretty dark back there. The windows are tinted and there's not a lot of light that comes into the back. But the good news is like I said, you have a lot of room. So that's very nice. I like this Alcantara thing on the roof here. It's all very nice. We got a bunch of vents, a bunch of speakers. It's like a 36 surround sound 3D audio speaker in here. The Yukon can do whatever it wants with this Bose sound system, but it does not beat this. What else do you have in the rear? Well, we have the HVAC controls back here where I can have my heated seats. That's it. There's no cooled seats. There's no massage feature, which kind of makes me think that, you know, you're kind of buying the Escalade maybe more to drive it, because all the good stuff is up here, although you do have some nice stuff back here too. I can press this button here and it will pop out the cup holders. I don't know. I'm conflicted. You know, I like this design too, but the Yukon had a gimmick where it would come out, and I don't know, I think that's cool. Maybe Escalade will implement that, I don't know. I expected it to be the reverse, but here we are, it isn't. Anyways, you have some nice touch buttons. Overall, the back of the Cadillac Escalade has so much room, is very comfortable, and can fit just about anything. So with all that taken care of, let's hop in the driver's seat, let's hop in the most fun part of the car, and let's check out what features we got up there. So now here we are, like I said, best part of the Cadillac Escalade. It's the driver's seat, it's the front seat, where I am immediately greeted by these two massive screens, one for the driver, one for the passengers, and pretty much everybody else. They are OLED displays. And if you don't know anything about technology, OLED display is like a higher res, you know, thing. It's much smoother, the brightness is much higher. It's just really good to look at, and I love it. It's very smooth, all the transitions. I have so much things in here. I can control my rear climate, I can control the vehicle information, I can see the 360-degree camera, navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, built-in Spotify, built-in Amazon Alexa, all the stuff that you know and love that comes in the GMC. Well, it's in the Cadillac too, and they just do it so well. You got ambient lighting controls where it can kind of switch different lights, and at nighttime, again, it looks great. Now for the driver's screen, I actually have 1.5 screens. I have, on my left-hand side, I have a little screen where I can change what I see in the HUD. I can see an AR screen, which shows me what the front camera is seeing. So basically I have a full view of what's in front, and people maybe don't like to drive with that, but I absolutely love that feature. And it will give you, like, if you use the navigation, it'll give you AR, augmented reality direction. So it'll point to what lane you're supposed to be in, point to when you're supposed to turn left or right, but you have to use the in-car navigation, otherwise it doesn't work. You can't use Apple CarPlay. My one gripe with Apple CarPlay is that we have this huge, massive, wonderful, beautiful screen, and it only takes up like half of it, not even, and it blacks out the rest, and you can't do it, you can't change anything like that. I wish Cadillac, please work with Apple, get that whole thing Apple CarPlayed out. It would look so fantastic. So I can change, I can have that nice AR thing, I can have just a basic gauge, I can have the map here, and everything displayed here is of the most quality. I also have a heads-up display there, which is very nice. Moving a little bit over more to the left-hand side, I have my ventilated and heated seat controls right on the door with some memory seats. Of course, the seats are power adjustable for the driver and the passenger. We got massages in here, so it's a great car to wait in, great car to drive in. I also have the controls for the all-wheel drive system, which I love. I love this steering wheel, and if you've noticed in some of the shots that this little light bar is here, which means Super Cruise is included, and I will talk to you about that and how it's been once we take it for a drive. But I love the Cadillac. It's not blacked out in here, the Cadillac logo, but I still love it. It's colorful, it's high quality. I like the little bit of wood trim here on the steering wheel. It's nice and leather wrapped. It's heated, of course. I got a button right here. It also has this interesting feature where, you know, Cadillac, I guess, have realized that this is a really big car. So they've given me a feature where I can turn on like an active listening, where it will take the speakers and the microphones in the back and pump them into the front so that I can hear what the people in back are saying, and it will do the reverse for me, in front to the back, and they can hear what I'm saying. It's really cool. It works over music, and it's just a great way to communicate with everybody in the car, say if I have a full 7 load in here. So moving just a little bit lower from that infotainment screen, we have a really nice, it's a gloss wood. It's not open wood that we saw in the Yukon. I prefer the open wood look, I prefer the rugged look, but this is still classy. It matches the Cadillac brand, so I love that. We have these nice metal buttons. They have been getting dirty a little bit, and I've had to clean them a few times. They look great, so no complaint, and it's an Escalade, so I don't think you care what your HVAC controls are. But we have a nice little shifter, reminds me of BMW, Toyota kind of thing, where, you know, it doesn't move too much forward and backwards. It's kind of like one click, but it's very effective. I have this big black knob here that I wondered what it was, but it's actually to control the infotainment, so you don't have to, fingerprint it up and get it all disgusting. And it's really, really usable. I can go up, down, side, left, right, wherever I want to go, I can use it. Press in the middle. Nice little volume control here too. Then I have this little thing where all the gloss wood is, where I have some cup holders, my USB-C, USB-A, normal stuff, and then I have a wireless charger here. And then in here, on the video that you saw that Niall did last year on the 2022, well, he had a fridge. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have the fridge. I don't, but it's nice cloth in here. Everything you put in here will be well protected. It's very smooth and very nice. And last but not least, we have the speakers in the headrest. Similar to what we saw last week, it is an AKG system, 3D surround sound audio. It takes the cake when it comes to that if you compare it to the Denali. Maybe you compare it to the Aviator. I still find that one was better, but that's a conversation to be had another time. But anyways, with all that great stuff being said, let me take this car where I love to do, drive it. Let's drive it. Let's take it on the road and see what it's got. Okay, so here we are, 2023 Cadillac Escalade, and it's been a very luxurious week. It's been a very comfortable week overall. I mean, I really don't have much to complain about when it comes to this monster of a car. And I mean, I guess it is the pinnacle of three-row luxury SUVs. I don't really know if it goes higher. I mean, unless you want to go with like a Lamborghini Urus, but that's like 2 rows and not even 3 rows, and I don't know, maybe it's not even as luxurious. Anyways, the comfort in here has been good. It's been exactly what you'd expect. It is the top of the line. It is very similar to the Yukon Denali that you would have seen last week when it comes to ride quality. It has the air suspension, it has the adaptable ride height, but all that makes it a very, very comfortable ride. And so far I've had no problems. But you'd expect that. You're kind of spending a small house, a small fortune on an SUV, so it better be good. And the good news is that Cadillac got you covered. It is very, very good. I'd say the steering is more sporty than the Yukon was. I mean, just talking about it by itself though, yeah, like I can tell that maybe they put a little bit of essence of the V in all of the Escalades. At least that's what I'm gonna tell myself, because I cannot afford a V. I cannot even afford one of these, let's be honest. I mean, geez. But if you can't afford a V and you can only afford a Sport Platinum, then, I mean, it does have the sporty feel. It's got the nice exhaust sound. You can hear it in the car. I don't think it's pumped in. I think that's real. You can change your drive modes, and, you can have a custom mode that has, the suspension nice and soft, steering nice and soft, and then the exhaust system nice and loud. So that's nice too. So I mentioned that we do have a bunch of different modes. I have a Tour mode, which is like the eco mode, I guess. There is no actual eco mode because, let's face it, you're not saving money with these things. And then I also have Sport mode, which I'm going to keep it in, but I also have an off-road, a tow/haul mode, and then, of course, my custom mode that I can change everything. But basically, the engine and shifts goes to full in Sport mode, suspension to full, steering to full, and the exhaust note to full, which we obviously love, because hearing an Escalade absolutely go bonkers is exactly what I would pay for, even if it's not the V. So here, I'll do a quick little rolling thing. There is some fast coming traffic here, so I can't do too much, but let's punch it in the Escalade. Oh yeah, it's got it going on, sir. Okay. Yeah, so I haven't really tested that. I was kind of waiting until this video, and wasn't expecting that. Okay, so let's talk about that drivetrain. Oh my goodness. So the Yukon, I'm going to be completely honest, the Yukon was boring when I floored it. The Escalade, however, has got some power. And it's the same engine, but tuned, I think, differently. Like, that sound, like, is no joke. Like, hello, that can go fast. That's got some kick to it. Oh boy, it just makes this car even better. Listen to this. No, it's not the V, unfortunately. It's not supercharged, but if you want the bargain and the noise and everything, it's still there. Ooh, it's still there. It still gives you the nice little feeling of, I'm in a massive car, I'm in a, an absolute tank, and I can blow you away with your little Hyundai. You know what I mean? But, okay, so I've tested the performance. The steering is nice. It's exactly what you'd expect from a massive 3-row bus. But let's talk about the fuel economy. And again, I'm going to use that same analogy that I used last week. Run down the street full speed and light $50 on fire, and you will know what it feels like to drive one of these massive cars, because you're just burning gas. I mean, it hasn't been good fuel economy wise, but again, I expected that because it is such a big car. There is so many things that it has to use and you know, power. So I mean, we're at 17.2 liters per 100 kilometer, which is yeah, the wallet is feeling it. You know, you got deep pockets to afford this vehicle. That's you know obvious, that's a given, but you gotta continue to have those deep pockets to put gas in it. Otherwise, it's just a nice house ornament outside of your house, unless you live in the Escalade. I mean, you could. There's definitely enough room for it. Would you want to? I don't know. There's no microwave in here, but you could plug one in, actually, so there you go. I really like the 360-degree camera. I really like that digital rear view mirror. I love that I can kind of see the whole car all the time with this AR camera. It'll show me directions. It's great, great, great. I just, you know, there's not too many bad things that I could say. Like, it's an Escalade. You get what you pay for. You pay for absolutely everything, though, and I mean, it's kind of where it is. I do like, though, that it has a lot of safety features. The sensors are very useful. It vibrates my seat if I'm about to hit something, or somebody comes too close, or when I'm parking and I'm coming close to a pole. It vibrates my seat every time, and I like that. It kind of gives you a bit more of an awareness. I wasn't used to it at first, but it does grow on you, and it is very useful. So let's talk about my favorite feature. I guess you could call this my favorite feature of GM, because, you know, it's kind of rolling out on some GM cars now, and that is Super Cruise. Yes, it is a subscription. Yes, it is like a $2,000 to $3,000 add-on, but is it worth it? Oh my goodness, yes. Because if you're buying an Escalade and you got those pockets, then you might as well spring for the Super Cruise, and trust me, you won't go wrong. It can't steer you wrong. I've never steered you wrong before. Cadillac is not going to steer you wrong either. Super Cruise is incredible, and you know, in case you haven't seen my video on the Bolt where it had Super Cruise, it was my first time ever using it, I'll explain it again. So Super Cruise is basically like adaptive cruise control on steroid. That's how I like to tell people. Or if you think how Tesla has autopilot. So basically, you have this bar on your steering wheel, and it only works out on mapped out highways. So a lot of the 20, and I'm pretty sure all of the 40 in Canada is mapped out. So once you find yourself on those highways, you can engage your Super Cruise, and it will take control of the car. It will keep you in your lane. It'll turn, you know, do anything you want on the highways. It'll go in a straight line, turn when you want to. And then also, this has an added feature for the Escalade. Of course it does. It can actually change lanes for you. So what it will do is when it notices the coast is clear, it's good to go, it will vibrate your seat either left side or right side to tell you which way it's going, and then put the turn signal on, and then actually move into the other lane. And it also will speed up if it knows that there's other traffic behind you, so that you're not impeding traffic whatsoever. Probably one of the greatest features ever. It's a slam dunk on Tesla, maybe not so much in the price range, but I mean, GM has managed to do it. If you look at Tesla's AI system, their driving system, it's like, you know, it's like a $40,000 add-on, and like, for what? You know, most people are only using that thing on the, you know, on the highway anyways. You don't really trust it on the back roads. So there you go. Super Cruise is an absolutely incredible feature. I hope to see it rolled out in more GM. It would be nice to see it one day be a standard feature, because everybody should be able to use this, and eventually I think that's where we're going. So there you go. Super Cruise, best feature on the Escalade, best GM feature. Please keep doing it. Please keep improving it. I love it. All right, so let's do some final thoughts for the Cadillac Escalade. Like I said in the beginning, this week has been absolutely luxurious. I've been going out of my way in every single way, shape, and form to get myself in the driver's seat of this vehicle, because I think that the Escalade is such a status symbol that, you know, you don't care. You buy it to drive it. You don't buy it to haul things or use it like for, you know, having a big family. You just buy it because it's an Escalade. It looks awesome. You look like a baller using it, and that's it. And it's just kind of like one of those symbols, like you have arrived if you can afford a car like this, and it's just, everybody knows what it is. Most people know that they're very expensive, and it's just a status symbol, and I'm completely okay with that for a car. I mean, some cars are just meant to be status symbols, and you know, the Escalade is kind of one of them. But if you do also need that usability and that space, well, it's got you covered there as well. So, you know, it does all that stuff great. Now, the question is, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, which one would I take? Would it be the Yukon or the Escalade? And I guess the question comes down for preference for you. Personally, though, we got to give it to the Escalade. I mean, it loses in almost every category when it comes to price because the Yukon Denali is just cheaper. I mean, you're still looking at the 100K plus club. So if you're in that club and you're looking for a car, congratulations to you. I went wrong somewhere in my life and you went right, so you know what. But yeah, I gotta give it to the Escalade. You know, the parts, I would take the Escalade over the Yukon. I mean, the Yukon does have a nicer interior in terms of that like open wood and stuff like that, but it's just like, you can't turn down an Escalade. If you have the choice between the two, you can't tell me you're turning down an Escalade. Come on. I know I wouldn't be able to. You know, side by side, back to back, choose which one you want. Here's the key, and you keep it forever. It's the Escalade all day, every time, I think. But with that being said, with all that stuff out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know, are you in the market for an Escalade? Because that's crazy. Or do you just like checking out really expensive cars like I do? And you know, I just want to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity, because there is no way in my life that I would ever get my hands on these cars without you guys watching the video, without Niall, you know, pulling me out the mud and like, you know, giving me this opportunity. So I thank the PRN community. I thank the PRN, everybody involved in all of this stuff. It's been a great journey so far, and I hope to continue. I hope to bring you more crazy cars in the future and more opportunities. And we can only do that if you press that subscribe button, press that like button. You have to subscribe, you have to like. If you made it this far, it's obligatory. That helps us more than you know, and it's completely free. It doesn't cost you a cent to do that. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, but I'll see you next week in the new video, and you take care. Have a nice one. Have a great one. See you next time. Bye-bye.